Palestinian authorities announced that the Israeli occupation forces have massacred 77 Gazans and injured 174 others in the last 24 hours in the Gaza Strip. Russian armed forces launched a long-range precision weapon strike against Kyiv military targets in response to the Ukrainian aggressions towards a defense facility. Cuba held the closing of the fourth session of the Cuba Parliament, in which President Miguel Díaz-Canel presented a balance sheet on the government's actions in 2024. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. With you with the news, stay with us. Palestinian authorities announced that Israeli occupation forces have massacred 77 Gazans and injured 174 others in the latest 24 hours in the Strip. Overnight, Israeli forces dropped shellings on a residential building in Beit Hanun city, claiming the life of a married couple and their two daughters in the north of the besieged Gaza Strip. Other occupation aggressions towards the cities of Rafah and Gaza have left 6 deaths and several injuries. Meanwhile, thousands of people are still missing under rubble as 90% of the Gaza Strip infrastructure has been destroyed. Moreover, famine made thousands of children and elderly starved to death. The Palestinian Health Ministry reported that 45,206 Palestinians have been slaughtered as a result of the Israeli genocidal campaign in force since October 7, 2023. Israeli senior officers quitted their posts in the occupation forces while they are in military operations against Palestine, Lebanon, Iran, and Syria. Over 500 active senior officers have this arguing that their retirements are due to the ongoing conflicts. The Israeli national press expressed such crisis has been going on since 2022, where over 610 officers have been discharged despite the fact that there are economic conditions for the reservist personnel. In this context, the Israeli occupation forces have shown concern over the attempt to search the number of high-level officers, but official sources revealed that they have lost over 800 active and reserve personnel since October 7, 2023, after the current offensive. In Syria, social organizations and civil youth groups marched to demand a democratic and civil state in the country. Demonstrators gathered in Damascus' Umayyad Square, to the first of its kind after the fall of the Bashar al-Assad government by the ongoing popular movements to build Syria. The participants called for a civil state free from military or religious rules. The organizations point out that they want a Syria that includes pro-building and pro-emerging segments of society and no governments based on narrow religious foundations. Going on, Russian armed forces launched a long-range precision weapon strike against Kyiv military targets in response to the Ukrainian aggressions towards a defense facility. The Russian Defense Ministry reported having hit a command center of the Ukrainian Security Service and positions of the Patriot anti-aircraft missile systems. Moreover, the Russian armed forces struck the launch design bureau headquartered in Kyiv, which develops and manufactures Neptune missile systems and Ola Group launch cruise missiles. On Thursday, the ministry announced that on December the 18th, the Ukrainian army targeted a southwestern Russian company with 6 U.S. main missiles and 4 Storm Shadow cruise missiles. Ukrainian armed forces struck Russian Kursk province, killing at least 5 people and injuring the other 20. The Rilskin town hall gathered at the Ukrainian army have dropped 15 bombings on various residential buildings, schools, and recreational centers. The enemy highlighted that emergency services have been deployed in the areas to cope with damages. In view of these attacks, the investigative committee of Russia reported that a criminal case has been opened. A case has been opened for a terrorist act committed by the Ukrainian military in Kursk. In Russia, a passenger and a freight train collided this week in Murmansk province, bringing about 2 deaths and 42 injured so far. Authorities report on Thursday that a crash within the Murmansk-Petersburg road led to the derailment of 21 cars, including 4 of the passengers trained. They further announced inquiries are underway to find out the causes of the accident. Likewise, they informed that the police had arrested the driver of the freight train and his assistants as main suspects of having violated security rules. Let's take a very short break, but remember you can join us on our TikTok account at teleSUR English, where you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. The President of China, Xi Jinping, led both the ad in commemoration of the 25th anniversary of the reunification of Macau with China and the swearing-in ceremony of the 6th government of the Special Administrative Region. Both events were held in the morning at the Macau's Asian Games Dome, in which the President praised the oath of office of the new Chief Executive of the Macau Special Administrative Region, SAR, Sam Hao-5. Likewise, senior authorities of the new administration attempt the so much warmly received sworn-in act. It is worth to recall that China resumes its exercise of sovereignty over Macau on December 20, 1999. Therefore, the Chinese government set Macau as the country's second special administrative region after Hong Kong. The Sri Lankan Navy rescued on Friday over 100 people estimated to the Rohingya refugees after they were found on a fishing boat off the country's coast. Military authorities unfold that fishermen had spotted the refugees, including 25 children and 30 women. Moreover, the Sri Lankan Navy provided support to the refugees, notwithstanding their whereabouts have not been confirmed yet due to the communication problems. They further revealed that those rescued received medical attention as well as food and water. It is worth noticing the fact that hundreds of thousands of Rohingyas, namely Muslims, have fled Myanmar in recent years due to the discrimination and persecution against the ethnic group. In the U.S., 2 workers were killed and 3 people were injured when a freight train collided with a trailer in a town in the south of Texas. The accident took place at 5 in the afternoon local time, following a collision between the train and the vehicle, which was stopped at the crossing in the town of Pecos. Local police chief Lisa Tarango said that the crash caused the 3 cars carrying hazardous materials to derail, but there are no chemical leaks. One of the injured was taken to the Odessa hospital in critical conditions, while the 2 others were taken away with minor injuries. Official data revealed the highest rate of U.S. deportations since 2014 under Biden's administration. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE report having deported at least 271,484 immigrants in this fiscal year, the highest figure in a decade. The entity asserted that it had been surpassed the massive deportations processes under the first Donald Trump's term. U.S. President Joe Biden justified the upsurge of deportations and alleged threats to public safety and national security from October the 1st, 2023 to September the 30th, 2024. In Argentina, the government authorized this Thursday two office officials to request support from the armed forces in place that they consider of strategic values of the state. The executive power authorized the Minister of Defense, Luis Petri, and of the Security, Patricia Bullrich, to request support from military personnel or from provincial police forces and from the city of Buenos Aires in situations of internal commotions. The decree calls into question the defense law since it does not clearly or explicitly defines what a strategic value objective is. Therefore, it gives national polices the power to define or redefine this concept. Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English, where you'll be able to watch on interviews, top stories, special broadcasts, and more. Subscribe and active the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. We follow your breakdown, go away. Welcome back. The president of France, Emmanuel Macron, became the target of criticism from local residents during his visit to the archipelago of Mayotte, devastated after the passage of Cyclone Chido. The president faced the impatience and anger of the people, who demand his resignation and denounce the government's lack of actions to come to aid of the people affected by the cyclone. In response to the criticism, Macron could not detail the supposed measures taken to solve the crisis in the area and lashed out at the residents, saying that he is not responsible for the catastrophe. The French leaders indicate to the residents that if they were not in France, they will be much worse off, as he considers that they are receiving sufficient aid. In the Democratic Republic of the Congo, a flash flooding of Alberto laid effect over the 55,000 locals in Aturi province. The Civil Protection Authorities detailed that water overflows are due to rise in the river levels after downpours fall during the season in the area. They further specified that thousands of evacuees are facing very poor food conditions. The entity members request the government to assess the situation in order to allocate humanitarian aid to the victims. This Friday, Venezuela Attorney General Tarek Williams confirmed that Fernando Martins Motola, a far-right activist from Vente Venezuela, who have been residing in the Argentine embassy in Caracas, surrendered to the Venezuelan authorities yesterday. The Public Prosecutor's Office informed that on Thursday, December 19, 2024, Mr. Fernando Martinez Motola, who was residing in the Embassy of the Republic of Argentina in Venezuela with a group of members of the extremist organization Vente Venezuela, who are the fugitive, voluntarily presented himself at the main office of the Public Prosecutor's Office in Caracas. The aforementioned citizen was brought to justice and made a statement at the prosecutor's office regarding the serious violent, conspirational, and destabilizing acts that have been organized from their aforementioned diplomatic headquarters during the last month after the presidential elections of July the 28th. It is important to highlight that Martinez Motola decided to actively collaborate with the Venezuelan justice system within the framework of the process provided for in Article 49 of the Constitution of the Republic. Finally, the Public Prosecutor's Office of Record and Holder of Criminal Investigations remains firm in its duty to guarantee justice as well as in its fight against any national or international group or entity outside the law that attempts against the peace of the Venezuelan nation. Cuba held the closing of the fourth session of the Cuba Parliament, in which President Miguel Díaz-Canel presented a balance sheet on the government's actions in 2024. During the event, the president explained the enormous efforts and the still insufficient results of the presidential administration in the face of the obstacles imposed on the island, such as the U.S. blockade and the prevailing injustice in international economic relations. In his speech, the president called once again on the heroism, intelligence, and creativity that distinguish the Cuban people to overcome the difficulties made by the faces by the island nation.
Marxists, Martianos, and Fidelistas, we will not get tired of fighting against the pro-imperialist, fascist, warlike, exclusionary, predatory currents that threaten humankind, and we will continue to insist on the development of the just and responsible humanist model of solidarity.
The president of Cuba, Miguel Díaz-Canel, points out the United States promotes the Israeli genocide against the Palestinian people and the use of nuclear weapons through the Organization of the North Atlantic Islands.
The threat of nuclear conflagration has been closer than ever before for more than half a century. The expansionist ambition of the imperialism promoted by the United States through NATO raises the danger of the use of nuclear weapons in Europe to seriously worrying limits. Israel's genocide against the Palestinian people, with the open support of the United States and other allies, is already one of the most merciless atrocities humanity has ever known, and it is taking place before the eyes of all with the impotence of the United Nations, the International Court, and the many international organizations supposedly designed to promote and protect human rights.
The Cuban president recalled that the administration of U.S. President Joe Biden tried to collapse the revolution in Cuba with the imposition of the unilateral coercive measures.
The awareness of what has been done in these 4 years by the outgoing government of the United States is to bet on the collapse of the revolution through the ruthless application of a system of coercive measures established by its predecessor to reinforce the economic blockade.
Also in Cuba, authorities reiterated on Thursday the calls for a popular march in front of the U.S. Embassy to be held on Friday, December the 20th, against the blockade. The march, called by the plenary session of the Central Committee of the Communist Party, will take place at the end of the session of the National Assembly of People's Power, with the aim of expressing in front of the U.S. Embassy in Havana the condemnations of the economic, commercial, and financial blockade imposed by Washington and the permanence of Cuba in the legitimate list of countries allegedly supporting terrorism. We have come to the end of this brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, on X, and on Instagram as well. For Telesur English, I'm from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.